There are many different iconic horror genre directors. I've done some research into three of these. The first one, Toby Hooper. Toby Hooper has been honoured with many awards for his films within the horror genre. Toby Hooper is well known for directing the horror film that changed the horror film industry in many audiences' opinions. This film was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974. Before he directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Toby Hooper spent the 1960s as a college and documentary cameraman. Toby Hooper is also well known for directing horror movies such as Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Poltergeist, and Salem's Lot. The second iconic horror film genre director is Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock grew up in a very strict Roman Catholic family. In 1920, Alfred Hitchcock managed to secure a job as a title designer in a studio in London. He designed titles for all the movies that studio produced over the following 2 years. In 1923, Alfred got his first chance at directing when the director of Always Tell Your Wife fell ill, so Hitchcock finished directing the movie. He went on to work as a writer, title designer, and an art director. When Hitchcock went on to direct his own films, he usually created horror films that had a twist at the end and had thrilling plots which included depictions of violence, murder, and crime. He chose to do horror films such as these from the audience involvement and what the audience expects. Hitchcock directed more than 50 feature films in a 60-year career. Hitchcock had a flair for narrative and cruelly withholding crucial information from the characters and the audience. This resulted in engaging the emotions of the audience more effectively. His most famous film he has directed was Psycho. George Romero. After graduation, George Romero began shooting mostly short films and commercials. He and his friends formed Image 10 Productions in the late 1960s, and they all chipped in roughly $10,000 to produce what became one of the most celebrated American horror films of all time, Night of the Living Dead, 1968. This film was shot in black and white and was shot with a budget of just over $100,000. In 1978, Romero returned to the zombie genre with the one film of his that would top the success of Night of the Living Dead, 1968. This was Dawn of the Dead, 1978. The decline of Romero's career came in the late 1980s. His last widely released film was the next Dead film, Day of the Dead, 1985. Derided by critics, it did not take in much at the box office either. His latest two efforts were The Dark Half, 1993, and Bruiser, 2000. These two films, like the previous, did not raise much at the box office, so